Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing really well. Welcome to Future Thinking with myself, Alicia Houlihan, and my very good friend, Laura Martin. The two of us have come here together to create future thinking for you, and we really hope that you enjoy it. Laura, I hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining with me today and on this really exciting project. Really looking forward to it. And I guess today is going to be an episode we're kind of just going to be talking about ourselves, getting to know us, and just talking a little bit about future thinking and our expectations for this. So, Laura, would you kind of like maybe to jump in and maybe explain a little bit about future thinking? Because, I would like to give the credit to you. This was your idea, and I'm really excited that you asked me to come on this project. But yeah, would you kind of like to talk a little bit about future thinking, where the idea came from?
I think future thinking, it's because myself and yourself, we have years between us of volunteering and charity work. So you were definitely the first person I thought of, and I knew you were going to be the perfect match for this. Future thinking is a platform for volunteers and charity work in Ireland. And I suppose for us to give it a voice, because it's something that we know more people need to be involved in. And I think you're just as passionate about it as I am. So I think it is definitely important to kind of get these series out there and make people aware of how they get involved, and for them to know that it doesn't matter how big or small your contribution is, but you can definitely give back to your community in many ways, because big ideas make a big difference, especially in a small community.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly it. You are doing something small, but it's having a huge impact onto somebody else. And I remember the day you texted me about it, and you were like, I have an idea. I don't know what the idea is, but I feel like, the two of us, we have a lot of experience in terms of volunteering, and I would really like to create something to give the two of them a voice. And I remember we were kind of like throwing back and forth ideas, and we were like, we could be, doing interviews, or we could do workshops as well, was also a talk about situation. And I remember just the moment you sent me the message, I was so excited. I was so ecstatic. I was like, this is something I'm really interested in. I really want to like put my foot in this, because this is something as well, although both of us are so involved in volunteering and putting ourselves out there as well. I suppose this is something I've never really done before as well. Interviewing people in this realm and this era, and maybe kind of getting to know them a bit more and seeing what they're about and how you can kind of get involved. So I think the important thing in all of this is, if you are watching, thank you so much for joining us. But also, if you're someone that volunteers a lot, you can still, by watching this, you can still know that and highlight the importance of volunteering and how you can help spread the word. But also, if you've never done volunteering before, you will probably learn things throughout this series in terms of how can I get involved, how can I learn more, and you're just kind of getting to know a lot more people and getting to know their backgrounds and their stories. So I think there's a lot going to be in this series, and we're going to be learning a lot of different human stories, and then also just a lot about the organizations and the charities that we will be working with. And I think that that's something really nice as well, because especially a lot of the charities and organizations we've fundraised for or we've worked with before, so it is definitely very close to our hearts and things that we believe in and things that we feel very strongly about as well. So I think that it makes it a lot more special and a lot more important. But definitely it'll give a voice to the two. It's going to collaborate the two together, of speaking about it and the actual topic of volunteering itself and bringing it to life. So I'm definitely very excited about it. And I suppose our expectations about this is, if one person can watch this and find a benefit from it, and if one person can sign up to some sort of volunteering, then I suppose me and you have done our job here, because I think that that's the most important part.
Definitely. And I suppose I kind of latched onto something you said there, and it's something that we believe in, because we do it for the right reasons, and it is something that we truly believe in, because we see the impact that volunteering and charity work make in people's lives. And I remember you said something to me before, and it was like, it's great raising money, and it's great liking and sharing and trying to raise awareness that way, but definitely to give your time, because that's something that you'll never give back, and your time is priceless. And especially when it comes to, say, younger people and charities that we work with and organizations that we work with when it comes to volunteering, because like I know you're with Froiga, and I'm a big brother, big sister with Froiga also under their whole like umbrella. So definitely giving our time, because we see the impact of it. And as you were saying, if we can get one person to volunteer, and it doesn't even have to be with the organizations that we work with, but something that's close to their heart, I think it'll really make a difference, especially in their lives, knowing that they're empowering someone or they're empowering something to give back, but yet that person is benefiting from the volunteer's time as well.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. And I think if either you or I only get one message to say, Laura, I signed up to my local football club and I'm helping out once a
Yeah.
week for an hour. And if that's all we heard of, and even if that was a cousin of ours, I would still feel, oh my gosh, we have done our job, because we have impacted one person who will probably impact many more lives by just helping out for an hour a week. So definitely super excited about this. And I really like the whole idea of interviewing someone and giving them a platform to talk about something that they believe in. And I suppose, yeah, even just again, kind of resonating with something you just said there, this doesn't mean that by watching these, you have to be involved with the organizations or the charities that we will be speaking with throughout this series. If it is something that you're interested in, another charity organization or just some kind of a youth group or something, definitely get involved and sign up. It doesn't have to be closely related to the topics and the situations we're talking about this week, but it's just the whole topic on theme of volunteering itself and really how important that it is. So yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to it. So I suppose with the two of us, anyone that would have the two of us, because for those who don't know, we met through Miss Mayo, which I always find really weird because I've said it to you ever since we met. If we didn't meet through Miss Mayo, I definitely think we would have met through something else. I'm surprised that we haven't met already through something else. But definitely, and that's how a lot of people maybe watching this would know the two of us and would maybe know our backgrounds, or people who would be watching from my side or your side. But I suppose maybe for people who have come from my situation, my side of things, or from people who are watching from different organizations or watch back, would you maybe like to talk a little bit and a little bit of background on yourself and maybe give a bit of introduction for anyone who maybe wouldn't know you?
I suppose, as you were saying, we met through Miss Mayo, and as you said to me before, that we definitely met in a different life. And I completely agree. We're so similar, and I'm so surprised that we didn't meet through the organizations we work with. But just a background on myself. Yes, we met through Miss Mayo. I'm originally from Cork. And I suppose the background about me is how I got into volunteering. I started unbeknownst to myself when I was quite young. And I suppose it was actually an influence of my own parents. And it was that, around Christmas or around certain occasions, that I always gave things away that I knew might be beneficial to somebody who needed it more than I did. Say, like when it came to, like, I know this is communion gowns, confirmation outfits, toys around Christmas. We always raised money and we always gave away things that we thought might be more beneficial to others. And I suppose then it really sparked when I was 16 and I cut off, like, what was it? I think like 22 inches of my hair to donate to a cancer charity to make wigs.
Wow.
So I suppose that's when it started. And I was like, wait, no, I can do this on a larger scale. So then I got involved with Big Brother, Big Sister, and I do work as well with ARC Mayo, who are an organisation for children with disabilities and their families. And I've done work for Pieta House, ISTCC. And I suppose that one realm that I'm looking to really get into is technology and software for children with learning disabilities, especially those with autism. And I suppose I suppose one thing about me, and I'm really passionate about, is education of children, because I genuinely believe that it is their right, and every child, no matter if they're typical or if they have a learning disability, that they have a right to education. I suppose that's the one thing that I'm looking to develop, is software for children with learning disabilities. So I suppose a bit about me is my passion is for younger children and children through their education, because myself, I would be quite educated myself. I have my degree in design and I have two in computer science. So it's definitely something I'm looking to build on. And it's something that I would like to start with nationally, but it's something I'd like to bring internationally and into multiple languages to make it inclusive, especially for children around the world. So I suppose that's just a bit about me.
Wow. And I have full belief, like I fully believe that you will take this internationally. Like I can, anyone even listening as well can hear the passion in your voice. Like it's unreal, and you should be so proud of yourself, because everything you've achieved, it's just, as you said, you started so young, unbeknownst to yourself. But I suppose with these kind of things, and you know this yourself, once you get involved in one thing, you're involved
Yeah.
in something else. Once your foot is in the door, you're completely just doing things that you never even thought that you were doing, because you're just, wow, I just put my foot in the door and I didn't even know. But it's amazing all the things you've done and been involved in. And I suppose that's why, you can feel so passionate about it, because you've done all these things yourself, and you can see the smile on somebody's face when you have, done what you've done and been involved in the things that you have. So it's unreal, and it's amazing, to believe in it as well, like to, with, let's say, children and education, it's something you firmly do believe in, because you're so involved in education yourself. So in order to work towards children and education and that topic, it's unreal, and like you should be so proud of yourself because it's class.
I can't take
So
all the credit to myself. I suppose I was just thinking of it there. Like, I suppose I never gave a background of where it came from, but I suppose you would know, and I suppose people that I know that my younger brother is autistic, and I've seen the struggles that he's had growing up
okay.
when it came to
Yeah.
schoolwork and homework. And I suppose I was like,
Yeah.
this child can learn in another way. Like, he's so talented and so gifted, and he's so good with technology. I'm like, there's definitely a way that I can try
Yeah.
incorporate technology
Yeah.
into his everyday life of learning. I suppose that's where
Yeah.
that idea came from. It's actually because of a personal experience. And as you were saying, once you get
Wow.
involved in something, when you hear there's something else going and you're like, I can give back to that. Like, I do the Big Brother Big Sister, and there's multiple other charities and organizations that I work with, and I'm volunteer interviewer for Galway United Football Club also, which I never ever would have thought if I didn't
Yeah, unreal. It's so
take
good.
exactly if I just didn't take the leap and be like, you know what, I can do this, I can volunteer, I can give back. It's something that I might not have always done all my life, or something that I would be really, really aware of.
Yeah.
But it's something that I can do this, and I can learn, and I can give back, and I can definitely make a contribution to a team, to a club, no matter how big or small it
100%.
is. And I suppose you're the same as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that you said that, it doesn't matter, like you don't even have to be involved in it in your whole life. And I think there might be a little bit of not really a stigma, but maybe people may think that, I've never really been involved in it before, and I've never really done work with that, so I can't really start now. But I think, you even saying that just like highlights to me that you could be any age, and you could
Yeah.
be involved in anything at all. It doesn't matter what age or what time of life or where you are at with life and its time span. You can definitely be involved at any time. And I think that's it exactly. Like you could be anywhere in the world as well, which is amazing. It really is something that you're giving an hour of your time, and an hour, it wouldn't even have to be an hour, it could be half an hour a week, and you could be really impacting someone's life. And I love that. Like I think especially with your brother, like you've seen what he has to have went through growing up and everything. So you kind of know as well, like what are the things that need changing and what are the things that need adapting. So I think that makes it easier to work towards your goals and what you're looking for and all of that kind of stuff. But unreal, like amazing. Like I know you're a really humble person. Though that's something I've definitely learned whilst getting to know you these last few months. Like everything you've been so involved in, you're just really gracious. And I think also for people who may not know, you are Miss Mayo, so like I think it's amazing as well. Like you're really gracious, you're just really humble, you're a really humbling person. So like I always say to you, but you should be so proud of yourself because you
Ah,
are a really good person, and you always give back though. So I think that's unreal. And I think kind of with a little bit of background on myself, I suppose that's where we kind of we get on so well, because we always just kind of have our foot in the door on things. We always are very much involved in, not even in volunteering, but just in some type of work, to say, whether it be public speaking work or group work, or just like trying to help others where we can. But I suppose with myself, I would have started quite young as well, unbeknownst to myself. And I would have been probably about maybe 14 or something like that. I was very involved in Froiga growing up, extremely involved. And I have to say, I'm very grateful for my leader at the time. Her name is Mary G. Duffy. Anyone from Mayo in Froiga would, from that young of an age, would know Mary G. And I have to say, I always shouted out to her because she was so amazing, and she did absolutely everything for me. growing up to make sure I had all of the opportunities on a youth engagement level. She always told me about different conferences that were happening, and always just trying to get everybody, not just me, absolutely everybody involved. She feels really passionate about it. So I always have to give her a little bit of a shout out. But I was definitely very involved from a young age. Just even it started off going to club every week. And I don't know if you were the same, but growing up, I was at the start of secondary school, I was really shy. I was such an introvert. I was one of those first years with a bag on my back, a huge bag, and I was really, really shy for like the first 2 or 3 years of school. It was really in third year I started to open up. And that's when I started joining Froiga and started getting involved in all of these things. So I suppose with being involved in volunteering and all of that youth work and engagement, it can actually really help you come out of your shell as well, because you're getting to know people, you're kind of putting yourself out there, doing things that you might have never have done before. And I suppose it kind of started from that young age of being involved, and I would have been involved in the Goshka Award and the John Paul Award and stuff like that in school as well. So would have been just doing volunteering with that. And I suppose that probably was a moment I would remember the most, is just doing volunteering with that. And over the years, then I just kind of was like, this is enjoyable. It felt like there was something I was like, I didn't feel like it wasn't hard work or anything. It just was, you know, what's an hour? Like me and you've talked about this before in terms of, you could spend an hour watching Netflix, and it flies by and it's nothing. Whereas an hour, it really is nothing. Time, it's that of yours is that precious, but we just spend it on this age and this era of like Netflix and all of these kind of like Disney Plus and all of that. And although very great, and in terms of the lockdowns and everything, I do also think that like you can do so much more with your time because it's so much more valuable to somebody else. And for me, just growing up, I would have always been very involved. And as the years have went on, I've been very involved in youth work on a European level. I very gratefully have been accepted to conferences all over Europe, and I've been on councils and different networking groups. So I would have been 2 years ago, I would have been traveling all around Europe and going to the European Parliament every few months, over in Brussels and in Strasbourg, on different youth campaigns and youth involvement. And I feel that's where we also get along very well. We also feel very strongly about the youth and young people. We believe that they're the future, they're the way of moving forward. And I suppose any little way we can help shape the future is like, it's an amazing feeling, because you can see how someone starts out of being really shy and how they can really open themselves up. So yeah, and even just me now, like I suppose I always have my head involved in something, whether it be in some kind of thing like this, or whether it be in some kind of like conference or something like that. So I suppose I'm a bit of an all-rounder. I'm someone that my background, my degree is in journalism and communications, and then I just finished a course this year then on nutrition. So I really like the idea of nutrition and reporting that, so like on a health promotion point of view. So I would love to take that on a European level, so talking about food and how food is medicine and how food is good for you and how we can use that. So I think that that's a little bit on me and kind of my background and stuff like that. So I think anyone watching would probably from either side would know both about us, but it's good for them to know on the other side as well. So I think
I'm so glad I didn't follow you. I'm so glad I went first. If I went second after that, I'd be like, I'm actually going to close down this podcast and I'm going to leave. No, like there's some things I learned.
No, you're amazing.
There's some things I learned about you that I didn't know. And honestly, I say to you all the time, like how inspirational you are. Like, I think people watching this now will just be like, what? Like, she does all that with her time. But no, like honestly, and yourself, like you're so gracious and so humble. Like you're really humble in your heart and you're really confident in your voice.
Thank you.
And I think that's what a lot of people, when they're watching this, that we hope that we can inspire them to do the same, because everyone has a voice, everybody can use it. Everybody has, I know when you were on about there, people are like, oh, is it an age thing? Like, oh, I'm too old to be doing this now. But you're never too old, because with age comes life experience. And that's very beneficial to young
100%.
people to kind of learn, being like, okay, this person went through this struggles. I'm going through the same thing. Let me see how they overcame it, and let me see how it can help me, how they can help me in my life. So I think everything you touched on
Yeah,
there was, you really hit it the nail on the head. Like you really, really,
yeah. And thank you. I think, especially like even in all around topics as well, and both of us, we both feel very strongly about positive mental health, and it's definitely a topic that is so something that we want to touch really more on upon, um, in the future in terms of like making it an open conversation. And I think, in a long rounded way, it can really help with your positive mental health in terms of volunteering and being involved, because you have that feeling of accomplishment, you have that feeling of being involved in something and being united with someone else and helping someone else and helping them grow. And you're learning a lot about yourself. You're learning about what can you do and how can you help and how you are beneficial to somebody else. So I think that that's definitely something else as well, that it definitely can help in all round areas of your life without even thinking. And as I said, it can be anything. It can be a charity organization, or it could just be your local GAA club down the road. I think it can be absolutely anything at all. And I think that that's it. You would think, volunteering, but really it's that simple to just do. And I think that that's what we're trying to highlight throughout this whole series, is that how important and how easy it is to just be involved in volunteering without even thinking of it. So yeah, definitely anyone who is watching, we really hope that you can be somewhat inspired and motivated, because it can help in all areas of your life, even in terms of public speaking and things like that as well. So
definitely.
definitely, even in, I'm sure you can hear in like my voice and stuff like that, I feel very passionate about motivation, wellness, mental health, and all of that kind of stuff. Even the blog that I run as well, like it's definitely, I love to, my thing is, if you can inspire one person, then you've done your job. So
And will you tell us the name of your blog as well? A shameless plug. Will you tell us?
yeah, the name of my blog is New Start Yourself. It actually used to be called Eat, Sleep, City, Repeat. For a college assignment, we had to make a blog years ago, many moons ago. And I remember I put up a blog post, 10 things I learned in my first year of college. And I got such good response. And I was like, wow. And I really like writing. And I was like, wow, I actually like this. I'm going to keep it up. And I kept the name of that blog for years, but I had nothing to, it didn't feel anything to me. I just, because I was living in Dublin at the time, it was just Eat, Sleep, City, Repeat. But then as the years kind of went on, I was like, oh, New Start Yourself. I was like, I feel like this is definitely more me, like as in, as we were saying, any age you can be involved in volunteering and stuff, but at any age in your life, you can do anything. You can completely change your life. At any age of your life, you can wake up one morning, you could dye your hair, move country. You can completely do whatever you like with yourself. You don't have to think, oh, because I've never done it now, I just can't. You can do whatever you like when you want to. So I think that that's definitely something throughout this series that people will definitely learn and feel. It'll definitely be a recurring theme. But I suppose we did ask on Instagram if anyone had any questions, and we got a few. So I will ask you three, and you can
Yeah.
ask me three as well, if that sounds good. Just so people can, I suppose, in terms of they have a background in us now, and maybe people had some questions as well on volunteering and how they can kind of get involved. So the first one, Laura, would be any tips for someone who has never really done volunteering before? I would really like to get involved in some type of volunteering this year.
I suppose me to answer that is, pick an area that you're interested in, because if you're interested in it, you will give it 110%. And just reach out to the right people. Just contact them, give them a call, drop them a text, contact them on social media, give them an email. That's how I got involved. I emailed Peter Duffy from Big Brother Big Sister in Mayo. Some people might know him if he's watching it, if they're watching it. I'll send it to him as well so he can watch it. And I just reached out to him, and they just set up all the interviews and the appointments, and it just went from there. So I think find the area that you're interested in, because you'll give it 110%, and reach out to them, and it's as easy as that. They'll make it as easy as possible because they want you to get involved. And I
think that that's so important when you say that. Sorry to just jump in, but to get involved in anything at all, I think that, like, a lot of people may worry about what will happen. A lot of the times they'll do a lot of the work.
Yeah.
They will do everything for you because they want you to be involved. It takes as easy as just sending an email, going on the website, getting the email, or getting the number of somebody that you know, and they'll do pretty much all the work for you.
And I was saying a second ago, I was saying I have the questions as well for you, so I'm going to ask you one now as well. Okay, so
Perfect.
what is your favorite thing about volunteering?
Oh, I like that question. Okay. My favorite thing about volunteering is we've talked about this on various different Zooms before when organizing this. I think my favorite thing is getting a message from somebody who's involved in the charity organization or just being there in person at a different event or function is seeing somebody's face or seeing the happiness that someone like expresses to you about being involved. And you may have only shown up once throughout the whole time. You may have only been there for an hour, but you might have had a conversation with someone, or you may have just been a really good listener to somebody who may have been talking about something. And they would have said, you know, you really inspired me, you really motivated me, and thank you so much for being involved in that. And it's just like this feeling of, as I said, maybe accomplishment, or you feel involved in something and you feel like you belong. And it's a really nice, it's just a really, you know, very, very cliche, but a very warm feeling that I feel that I express. I don't do these things to, you know, have my name printed on the bottom of an article or be posted on social media for. I could do volunteering for the rest of my life and never post about it. I could definitely be involved and no one ever know about it, because I was for years and no one ever knew about it. And that's not why we do it. We do it to see the smile on somebody's face or see the happiness that someone expresses. And I think that that's you can't put a price on that. You can't get that anywhere else. And that's definitely my favorite thing about volunteering.
No, that's 100% agree.
So
Everything you said resonated with me. Yeah.
yeah, because I think both of us definitely agree on that. Like, it's, you could definitely be involved, and as long as you can see the smile, that's all it takes, or even just a message. Um, okay, so your next question is, do you have an interest? Do you have to have an interest in the organization or the charity in terms of offering your help?
I think you do. I think if it's something you're interested in and it's something you're passionate about, you'll give 110%. Of course, we can all get involved with charities and organizations that we don't have an interest with, but if you're not
Yeah,
interested in something, you're kind of taking the spot of somebody who really is. So
yeah,
I personally think, yes, you do have to have an interest in the charity or organization to give it your all and to give it 110%, because I would never put my name to something and not be happy with it and not give it everything I have. So I think yes.
yeah, definitely, because that's it exactly. If you're not interested in it and you're involved and you're doing it for like no reason at all, there's nothing there to spark, you may, not to say the word flake, but you may just drop out and be unreliable to the people that are counting on you by being involved, because you're saying, oh, I don't really have an interest in this. Now, a part of me always believes, that you can always have an interest and you can always form and learn. But I do think you have to have an initial spark for something. Not to say that you have to be overly passionate and that you've had to raise loads of money for the organizations, or you've never had to even have been involved with them before, but you definitely have to have something for the reason, to say, I believe, I feel like that's a good cause, even if it's as small as that. I believe you'll give 110% if it's something that you believe in and it's something you feel strongly or even just a little bit for, because you're doing it then because you want to see change within that organization or that charity. So I would agree with you on that. I do think there's always room to learn more and to open your mind towards it, but you have to have some kind of feeling towards it, definitely.
100%. So the question I have now for you is, where does confidence come from for you? I would feel nervous to sign myself up for volunteering. And a lot of people say this. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm nervous because I don't think that they
Yeah,
have the confidence in themselves to be like, I can give back, I can do this, but when really they can. So where does it come from for you?
yeah, definitely. And I agree with you, actually. I think you were doing a Q&A over on your Instagram a few weeks ago, and someone asked a question of, where do you get motivation, or where do you get confidence? Where do you get these things to push you towards it and everything. And it was definitely something we both very much said before. And I think confidence, it it's not in thinking that what you're saying and how you're saying it is amazing and that you think you're the best out of everybody. It's just you feel confident within yourself, and you feel, you know, you're just happy with who you are and what you're saying and what you believe in, and how you're getting involved. And I think confidence, it definitely comes from just not caring about what people think. If you are fixated on what people think and what people care about, and if you're only doing things because of what other people will think, you're not really living your life then, because you're living around everybody else's expectations rather than your own and where you kind of stand on that. So for me, definitely confidence comes from just letting go and not caring about what everybody else thinks about, and just doing it because it's what you want to do and that you want to be involved in. And definitely, I completely agree. A lot of people I've heard as well and have said to me, I'm very nervous to just sign up and be involved. And I think, bringing it back to your first question, it is as simple as just sending an email, sending a message on Instagram. This whole new technologically orientated age that we all live in, it's that simple to just send a message. You don't even have to knock on a door and go anywhere anymore. You can do it all over the phone. Everything is all online pretty much nowadays, anyways. And a lot of the times, like pretty much all of the time, they will do absolutely everything they can to help you and get you involved and get you started up. So, I don't want to say don't be nervous, because it's a natural feeling to be nervous. Us as humans, it would be strange not to feel nervous. And, but definitely try to be a bit more open-minded about it not being so daunting, because it's definitely, of course, initially it's daunting, but I promise you, once you have that first phone call or that first meeting or that first Zoom meeting, you'll be like, wow, that was actually really easy. It wasn't hard at all. And I think, that's definitely where it comes from. And something that I just kind of thought about there, when I was saying, have the mindset of, um, completely lost my train of thought now. But when I was saying, to have the mindset of being a bit more open minded towards things, is, you know, you'll never know unless you try. And I think that's where it all kind of comes from, and that's where confidence will stem from. It's the fear. It's that natural human feeling. And even you and I, we both get naturally nervous. We both, both you and I are not fully confident walking around 100% of the day. There are times before we even get involved in something, even at the start of the call today, both of us were like, oh, kind of nervous. Like, it's a very human and natural feeling. So, you're not alone in feeling that, because I think pretty much everybody feels that. It's very natural and normal. So just try to be a bit more open minded that it's not so daunting, and it is easy as soon as you get involved. So then your last question is, where do you find the time to volunteer, work, and live your daily life? And this is something I get asked a lot as well.
Yeah.
So where do you find the time?
I'll find the time if there's something I'm passionate about. I will find the time. I'll find the time if there's something I have the time. I will make sure I find it, no matter how. Like, we all have 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
None of us have an extra hour. None of us have any hours left.
Yeah.
So
No, it's all there.
yeah,
there.
it's all in 24 hours. So I think if I'm passionate about something and I know that I can make a contribution, I will find the time. I'm not saying that I sleep for 3 hours a night. Like, no, like, I get my sleep, I go to work. I'm finished my master's now. I only finished last weekend, so I was doing everything, Miss Mayo, everything on top of it. But if there's something I'm passionate about, I will find the time. And I always believe that nobody is going to do it for you, that you have to do it for yourself. So there's no magic recipe to it. If you're passionate about something, you will find the time to do it.
Definitely. And I completely stand with you on that. And that's, I think, maybe why we're both people who are very so motivated and pushing into everything towards life, is no one is going to do anything for you. If you want something yourself, and again, very cliche, but dreams don't work unless you do, and your dreams aren't going to come to you. You have to chase them. You have to get them, because it's all there for the taking. Anything you want in life, you can have. Of course, there are going to be obstacles, but you just need to work towards it. And I think I love that, because I completely agree. I think in life, every hour we all have the exact same, so it can be definitely down to time management. And I'll even hold my hands up, I'm late to everything. You know, I'm definitely trying to work on my, anyone who knows me is like, Ali, you know, you are, but I definitely think time management, it's definitely something I'm working on, but time management in terms of, I split myself out evenly. You know, I be involved in things I want to be involved in. You know, I do it because I'm passionate about it, because I want to achieve these things. And I think anything in life you want to do, yes, time can be a strain, but at the same time, it's, you know, I fully believe if you want to do something, you'll find the time. It's a matter of priorities in your life. And if you're saying that you can't find the time for things, maybe you should maybe look at your priority list and see, do you have the time, or are you watching that extra episode on Netflix? You know, stuff like that.
We're
Like,
all
you
guilty
know,
of it
stuff
though. But
like
my
we're all getting, oh, very normal, yeah.
okay, my last question for you is, do you recommend starting alone or starting with a friend? Did I ask you this already?
Oh,
No. Do you
yeah. No,
recommend
no, no.
starting
I
alone
this
or
is the
starting
first,
with a friend?
yeah. Okay. I like this question. I think this is a good question because it's like kind of, it makes me think now. I'm like, oh, should you start alone or should you start with a friend? And I think, you know, either or really. It would be amazing if you started with a friend, more power in numbers and everything like that. But sometimes, and just knowing myself, and I think it's because I got involved in a lot of things on my own. I just always just naturally did it on my own. Although it's great to have moral support with a friend. So if you and a friend are thinking of joining something together, definitely do it. But if you were going to join it with a friend, amazing, power in numbers, and I love to hear and see that. But if there is a situation where maybe your friend isn't as passionate as you, or maybe you're not as passionate and you're going to maybe to vote your time to another charity or organization, maybe for if someone was to drop out or something like that, try not to just follow. If it's something that you believe in, continue with it, because I do see that sometimes, you know, people get involved with their friends because they're like, oh, we'll do it together, it'll be fun, and then one friend will stop maybe doing it, and then someone else will be like, oh, my friend stopped doing it now, so I don't really want to do it anymore. So it's, that's on that sense, I think it's amazing if you're going to join with a friend, but definitely do it for the right reasons, and do it because you guys want to be involved in it. And if one of you can't maybe devote your time as much anymore, that's completely understandable. We know life gets in the way, but just continue at it. Don't just drop because maybe your friend does. But also, I think there's something so strong about starting something on your own. If you don't have friends that will start this with you, that's completely fine. As I said, you know, I get involved in a lot of things off my own bat, and you're the exact same. A lot of the fundraising things you've done have been on your own, and things that you have done for you. So I think, you know, it's at the end of the day, we're all our own best friend. You know, like we're the person that we count on the most and that we depend on. So I think, and also it's a means of making friends. It means you're just putting yourself out there. You're just being like, a lot of my friends are all over the world, because, you know, my first time ever on a plane, I was 19, and I flew over to London on my own to go over to a youth conference. And I was so afraid, but I was actually, this is a really funny story, really quick, but it was my first time ever on a plane. And I was getting on the plane, and I always tell my one of my best friends, Rowena, the story, because when I first told her dad, he was laughing. But I walked on the plane, and you go down this tunnel and you end up on the plane. And I was absolutely shocked. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I sat down on the plane. There was like a 6-year-old beside me, and she was like, it's my first time flying. And I was like, same. I was like, oh my gosh, same. And I was in the air, and I was like, wow, this is my first time on a plane. I'm going to a youth con. I don't know anyone. And I was just like, you know what? Like, if I don't even talk to anyone here, it's my first time on a plane. You know, I found something positive in it. So I think, you know, I would recommend just doing it, whether someone wants to do it with you or not, because you'll never know the experiences that you gain from it. So definitely, if someone wants to join with you, perfect. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, but perfect. And if you want to do it on your own, do it on your own, because you'll make friends and you'll make networks and connections anyways. So
No, I love that. I love when you're saying, you're like, it was my first time. And the 6-year-old was like, yeah, it was my first time too. So you both shared an experience at different ages of your life. That you both obviously had
yeah,
like different expectations. How you were saying, I think it's so funny because like I would have been flying since I was quite young. And for you to be like, I got on a tunnel,
yeah.
I got through a tunnel, and then I was on a plane, and then I was in the air. It's kind of like you didn't know what to expect, but you went with it and you adapted.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, it's very normal and natural feelings to be nervous and anxious. I like I'm someone that like I can be quite socially anxious, but I'm always find myself very involved in very social situations all of the time. And before I got on the flight, I was like, what was the moment I thought that this was, what was the moment I was like, let's do this? Like, I was just like, but I think that's it in life. You just need to do it. You need to do what fears you and scares you the most because it's where you'll get the best experiences and the best outcomes. Everything good that I've ever achieved in life, and it never came easy to me. I had to work for it. And I'm sure you resonate with that as well. As you said, anything in life worth getting is worth chasing. And I think that that's definitely something that I like to resonate as well, and highlight the importance of. But I think, in this whole chat, I really enjoyed it. I really, really liked it. And I think if we're going to, if anyone took anything from this episode of getting to know us and volunteering itself, it's definitely what I've even picked up is just how simple volunteering can be, and how they'll help you in whatever way they can. You're not on this on your own. They'll definitely help you in whatever way you can, and you can gain so many experiences from it.
No, and it's great. It's been great. And, it's been great getting to know bits about you as well. And I suppose you've learned bits about me.
Yeah,
I suppose people
same.
watching this have learned, like, they've never met yourself or they've never met myself. It's great for them to kind of get a background. But no, it's been great chatting. And I
Yeah,
thank you so much for coming on a Sunday morning. And we'll be going live
you too.
on every Monday. We'll be going live in the evenings. What time do you think we'll be going live at?
7 p.m.
Yep, 7's perfect.
Kind of.
Yeah.
7. Yeah, 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Perfect. So yeah, we'll be going live every Monday at 7 p.m. And we thank you so much for watching Future Thinking, and make sure to keep an eye on both our social media. Ali, if you want to plug yours, and I'll plug mine after.
Yes, so my social media handle is at Alicia Houlihan, and I'm sure in the captions of this we will have them tagged as well. But yeah, mine's just Alicia Houlihan.
Yeah, and mine's at Laura Kira with a Keira. And thank you so much for watching Future Thinking, and definitely keep an eye on our socials for any updates and more episodes.